All right, so I know some of you guys are a little new, some of you are not, but just even though you may possibly be new, this definitely still attributes to you because it's something that you can start right off the bat, and we want to encourage that not from a Scentsy standpoint, but from getting you off to the most successful part of your business. So we're going to talk about recruiting tonight. And we don't like, me personally, and a few of the other directors that kind of you'll see on our team page, we don't like to call it recruiting. We like to call it sponsoring because recruiting sounds like military where you're trying to get everybody in and think like you and all that kind of stuff. And that's not what we do. We want to sponsor someone and help guide them through the things that we have learned, things that we've tried, things that didn't work for us, did work for us, and help them navigate how Scentsy fits in their life and how Scentsy works for their business. So one of the things to kind of get you started as far as sponsoring goes is to know why it's important. So a lot of people that join a direct sales company, for one, don't even understand what a direct sales company is. A lot of direct sale company people, haters out there, say that direct sales companies is a scheme, there's all that kind of stuff, and it's not a pyramid scheme. Direct sale, it basically, we don't get paid when someone just joins. I get no profit off of someone that just signs up, where a pyramid scheme, you get paid when someone signs up and that's all you have to do. With Scentsy, there's more to that, and that's because we are working towards building a really strong foundation with people and helping guide them. And so the money that you do make off of the people that join underneath your team is basically compensating you for the time that you take to show them the ropes and basically take time to help guide them. So you're basically, that income that you're making off of them is income to help guide them. So it's almost like it's like a what's the word? Residual income. I can't think of the word. But it's basically like if you were to write a book or direct a movie, or you were an actor in a movie, you've laid the groundwork. You went and you studied your lines. You've went and put in the time to make the movie or write the book. And years down the road, after that is done and people are still purchasing or making t-shirts or whatever it is off of that particular thing, you're getting income still from the work that you put in at the beginning. And that's kind of what it's like to grow a team and put that time in. So this time last year, we had, I didn't even do the numbers. I want to say we had about 8 to 15 people join our team last year, all within like a month's time period. And a lot of those numbers weren't coming directly from me. They were coming from the people that joined underneath me that were confident enough to recruit right away. And of course, even though they were confident to recruit right away, they were still very new to the business themselves. So I not only trained them, but I was also training the people that joined underneath them. And that's kind of the beauty of Scentsy and the way that it's laid out, is everybody is so supportive when you join Scentsy that even if you're brand new, you don't have to be nervous about adding someone to your team right away, because we try to, as leaders, and not every single leader does it, because everybody has their own gifts and attributes, and some people just aren't natural leaders. I'm not a natural leader, but I am a natural helper. So even though I sometimes have no clue what I'm doing, I naturally want to help. And so I want to make things easier for you guys. So, and most of the people that are in Scentsy are like that. And so when you have someone join and you're still green yourself, you're not sure of the answers of what you're going to direct them to do, that is why me as your director or some of your other leaders try to take that burden off of you a little bit to provide trainings, provide ideas, provide information, so that you have that information. So don't be scared of recruiting, because it is laying the groundwork for your business later on. Now, I don't make a ton off. I want to say I don't make a ton off of you guys. One of my top leaders, I made like $43 off of last month. So if you ever have a time where you're like, oh, she's just helping me because she's making money off of me, please know that it's not the case. We help because we truly just want to help. Because even though we're making little bits off of the help that we give you, it all kind of adds up for everyone, and it will add up for you as well. As you add people to your team, those little bits start adding up and your paycheck starts getting bigger. But if you try to think about it in a way of, because some people will be like, oh, I don't want to add people to my team, especially if they're family members, because then all my other family will have to choose who they're going to buy from, and that type of thing. And please know not to worry about that. We have some communities of like, there's 500 people in a town and there's like 4 SSDs. Like, don't think of oversaturation of consultants or a family member joining your team is going to take away from you, because direct sales company actually only makes up 1% of all the sales in the world. It's a very small portion of direct sales. And most people, there are tons of people out there that does not, oh, yes, I'm sorry, that took me a moment, Amber. I was trying to read it and understand it. But there are a lot of people that have no clue who Cincy is, even in small towns. And one person's customer service is going to be different than another person's customer service, and one person's personality is going to be completely different than another person's personality, and so that's going to change who the customers are drawn to, what recruits are being drawn to, all that kind of things. So I don't even remember where I was going with all that, guys. Y'all are killing me here. So don't be worried about people joining your team that is close to you, because that's what I was saying. If I was to go out and try to recruit 10 people or gain 10 new customers, versus me and Chris going out and tackling, trying to gain 20 new customers and 20 new recruits, you see what the potential is when you have 2 people doing the work of something versus just one person doing the work of something. So it's just, you're trying to dig up a tree. It's going to take you a heck of a lot longer if there's only one of you doing it. But if you get 5 of you doing it, that tree is going to come down in no time. So don't be scared of way. Don't be scared of adding people to your team. So that being said, when what you are doing in your business is going to be the example that your team does. So I try to lead from the front as your leader, to show you that to do the $2,000 a month, recruit 2 people, stay consistent in your social media. So what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is, if you want to grow in this business and you don't want to do this just as a hobby, you want to chase that paycheck, then there are steps that you have to take, to not just rely on me or some of your leaders to do a lot of that legwork for you. We want to share that burden with you so it's not all on you. And especially if you work full time or you have little ones, we don't want you to be on your own. So we want to share that burden with you. But if you want your paycheck to grow and you're going to be sponsoring, there is a little bit of responsibility. Well, there is a lot of responsibility that should fall on you to make sure that that person is successful. You should be doing coaching calls with me or your sponsor to find out what steps you need to take to make sure that that person is successful. Now, not everybody that joins your team is going to be successful. There will be some people that never start, and that's okay. You can't water dead plants. They have to be willing to take the information that you give them and the guidance that you give them, and they have to do something with it. You can want this extremely bad for someone and you see the potential in it, but if they don't take that moment and opportunity to grow themselves, it's not going to happen. So there are a lot of people that started with me on this journey that are no longer here. And I had growing pains with all of that. And there was a learning curve that came with all of that. But you have to know that each one of those have a season in your business, and it's something that's going to happen. Not everybody that were your rock stars at the beginning may stay with you throughout your journey. So it's always growing, and you're having to learn different personalities and how people react to situations. But just know that if you do get someone that joins and you have that moment of, oh my gosh, I finally did it, just know that you can do all the right steps, and it may just not click for that person, but don't get discouraged in that. But you, as their leader, need to make sure that you're providing the right tools and the right guidance for them to be successful. That way, you know that you've done everything that you possibly could do. If you're unsure about what those steps are, that's when you need to be reaching up and saying, what do I need to do to help this person along? Even though we have tools like the Spark group, where I've done a lot of just really basic, quick question videos to get started. We have the workstation. I mean, there's YouTube galore out there, but that can be very overwhelming for people, which is one of the reasons why we did the Spark group. But even though there's so much information out there, you as their sponsor helping guide them along is so much more beneficial than someone that they have no clue is talking to them. Yes, ask lots of questions. So now y'all are probably like, okay, well, I don't have anybody yet, or how do I get somebody? So let's talk about that. So yeah, just be the example. You work your business first. PRV, your business should be 80% your business and 20% focused on your team. So make sure that that is equaling out, because if you're working your business properly, if you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing in your business, posting consistently, trying to get a sale a day, even if it's a cent circle, a sale a day is going to ensure that you have a successful month. If you're out there handing out samples and getting information to follow up with, if you are doing all the steps that you need to, you are going to start recruiting. I actually looked back on my numbers from when I started in 2018, and well, I'll use 2019 as an example. 2019, I sponsored 6 people. I have sponsored 8 people already since the beginning of this year. So 1 year's time frame versus 4 months time frame. But what happened is, one, my customers see that I take this business seriously, that it's just not a whim, that it's just not something that I'm doing here and there and when I feel like it. They know that this provides income for my family, and I take it seriously, and I provide excellent customer service. 2, I got more confident as I got along, and I started learning the product, and I started realizing that you're going to get a heck of a lot of no's. You're going to hear that all the time. And if you haven't heard a no within the past 2 weeks, you are not doing something right in your business. I hear no a lot, but as I've heard those no's, it doesn't hurt as much when I get them, because I know that a lot of times, and I'm going to give you guys an analogy here in a minute, and it will make a lot more sense. A lot of the times it's just people are too busy to say yes. People are too overwhelmed and too stressed to say yes. They don't see the potential in it. They don't understand it. And that's why you get the no. So you have to get to a point where you're like, eh, I'm just offering a stick of gum. Don't feel like a stick of gum? It's fine. And my team's gonna laugh. That's been around for a while because I use that analogy a lot, but it is so true. You have to get to a point with offering a join kit or talking to someone about sponsoring that it's so casual with you that it's like, hey, I think you'd be really great at this. Oh no, I have absolutely no interest in that. Okay, that's fine. Move on to the next one. Like, you have to get to a point where you are so comfortable with the no aspect of it. But as you go along, what happens is when they say no, instead of you shutting down and being like, um, oh my gosh, she said no. Okay, that's fine. Bye. See you later. Instead of being like that, you can start being like, well, why? Like, not to pressure you, but what is it about the offer that makes you want to say no? Because they may say something like, oh, I would never be a great seller, or something along those lines. And that's when you learn to turn it around. Let me see if I can find it really quick. I should have pulled out really quick because I had one or two things. Oh, 1 second. I'll put some examples the when I post the training, because there's a few things that you can say to kind of get them. Let's see. I don't see it. But there's a few things that you can say to kind of help turn it around to where you can ask something kind of like, well, what were your past jobs? To where you're not trying to convince them that they're capable of it, but you learn to listen to the person and to figure out where this would benefit their life, because this isn't about you and needing a recruit and I need 2 recruits this month and I haven't gotten anybody, or I need to promote to low lead. And so it's not about you. You have to learn to listen to figure out where Cincy would benefit them, and then you guide them in that. So asking, well, what did you used to do? I'm curious what kind of jobs that you had in the past, so that you can figure out maybe some attributes that they had, or things like that. So, all right, I'm trying not to take too long of y'all's time. Let's see. So when you are going to approach someone about recruiting or sponsoring them, so you have we never encourage you guys to cold call ever. Never cold message someone. You want to build a relationship with them first, to see. There are instances where you can cold message someone, and you have to do it in a very nonchalant way of just being like, hey, I noticed this on your Facebook page and it just brought me to mind. And I just didn't know if this would be something that you would be interested in or not. And when you present it to like that, or you give them a compliment of something like, say, hey, I noticed that your presence on social media really impacts me when I scroll through Facebook. Would you ever consider this? Or I just realized that you have this spark about you, like a really outgoing personality. I really feel like you could do Cincy with me really well. Giving someone that confidence, because normally people will say no because of lack of time, what they feel like is lack of time, or lack of confidence. And if you can help build that confidence or encourage the fact that they can figure out this is a Scentsy business with your help and figure out where it can fit in their life and their time frame, then usually that will help spark the thought of, can I do this? And they will start asking more questions. But if you go to someone and you try to sell Scentsy to them as far as why they should join, people are going to shut down. We are inundated all day long with sales ads and TV and marketing, and our brains automatically start to shut out all the non-important noise. We glaze over it as humans. I read in a book today, it says humans take the easiest route. We're like water. We find the easiest route. And so if you are talking to someone about the company and how much you love the products, all that the company can do for you, and it can take you on a trip, and it can do this, and it can do that. All those things are wonderful, but where you should be doing that is in your social media, and not in a way that is, oh, look at this, and look at this, and look at this, you should join. You should be living your life to where people see, oh, Scentsy took her on a trip. Oh, she just got $1,000 bonus with Scentsy. Oh, she was able to take her family out to dinner, and they weren't able to do that in the past, but now she's working her Scentsy business. Just, it doesn't have to be thousands of dollars. It can be just going out to dinner or buying your kid a new book bag that you probably would have had to put on a credit card if you didn't have a Scentsy paycheck. You have to find ways to show people what Scentsy does for you versus telling them what Scentsy does for you. So when you have your recruiting conversations, you don't want to talk to them about all the things that Scentsy could do for them, even though you get to a point in the conversation where that kind of happens, but not initially. You want it to be short and sweet and directly to the point. And when they kind of start asking questions, that's when you answer them short. You answer just their brief question and say, what else you got? And then they'll ask another question. But if you overload them with information, they're going to be so overwhelmed that more than likely they're going to say no. Let's see. What else do we have? All right, I'm going to read this to you guys. If you do not have this book, it is called Be a Recruiting Superstar. It is amazing. I love it. It says, don't prejudge, don't hesitate, and don't hold back. Approach people and talk about the business at every opportunity you get. If an opportunity doesn't present itself, create one. The more people you talk to, the more successful you will be. All you need is belief in your products, your opportunity, and courage. Courage is the resistance to fear, mastery of fear, but not absence of fear. I still get extremely nervous when I talk to people about hosting a party, about recruiting. I get nervous. I'm nervous right now. I'm sweating. Like, it's still, hush. It is still, makes me nervous. But I've seen what this has done for my family. I went from having my first $100 paycheck to having my first $2,400 paycheck this past month. I know what it can do for me, and I know what it can do for everybody that joins underneath me or joins beside me. Like, I know what it can do. And so as I've gone along and I've seen the confidence that I've had in what it can financially do for my family, but what it can also do for me as a person, or the friendships that I've gained along the way, that makes me enthusiastic to offer it to other people because I want them to have the same thing. So you just have to get past that fear. Not confident, you need to kind of use that to your advantage. If they're not confident in themselves, that's where you need to give them the confidence. You need to encourage them that you do have a supportive team that will help them throughout the way, that you will be there to help guide them, that they don't have to know it all right away, that you didn't know right away. And you can even use that for your own confidence. So if you're not confident in joining and you go to talk to someone about joining, that puts you on an even scale with them. So if I'm not confident and I'm nervous about recruiting and knowing everything and training this new person, and they're like, oh, I'm not going to know everything. And you're like, girl, I don't either, but we can figure this out together. And that makes them feel like they are not alone, that if you can do it, and then she can do it. So use your lack of confidence to help their lack of confidence, and you both grow together. Um, so as far as not okay, so we talked about cold calling. Now let's talk about getting to know someone enough to be able to have that message with them of, you have this about you. I think you'd be great at Scentsy. The best way that you can do that is in your VIP group. And I do not do it near enough. I actually, as I was writing out my list of things to talk about with you guys tonight, I was like, oh, that is a great idea. I need to start doing that more. Your VIP group is the most amazing place that you can build a community. And that place, yes, go ahead, Amber. Your VIP group should not be the place that you only post your sales and only post what's coming out. That VIP group should be your baby. That should be the place that you post mom hacks, or you post cooking, or whatever interests you and is unique to you or your group of people that are drawn to you. That's where you want to cultivate that type of community. So how you can use that to your benefit is kind of like the questions that I post in our team page on Thursdays, where we get to know one another. Those are the same posts, and you guys can go steal the posts that have gone through on the past Thursdays. Steal those posts and go post them in your VIP group once a week, and have people start commenting. People always want to tell you about themselves. We're human beings. We like to brag about ourselves. We like to talk about ourselves. If you have a story, I'm probably going to relate to you saying, oh my gosh, this happened to me when I was 5 years old. People love to talk about themselves. So if you take one of those posts that says, what did your prom dress look like? And they start posting their photos, and you start having conversations with them on, oh my gosh, that dress was hideous. And she says, oh my gosh, yellow was my favorite color back then. Or, then you start having that relationship conversation. So when you do go to have that private conversation with them, it's not cold calling, for one, because y'all been talking back and forth. And then two, you know more information about them. So if I know one of my customers absolutely loves Harry Potter, I'm probably going to go in there and be like, girl, you need to get on my team, because I guarantee you, Scentsy is going to be signing up with Harry Potter in the next few years, and you are going to want to be an established consultant to go share that with all of your Harry Potter lovers. See what I did there? So your VIP group needs to be your baby. That's where you need to be. And when you first start out a VIP group, it's crickets. Do not let that discourage you. You have to build that. You have to consistently build your VIP group. You have to put in personal information about yourself. You have to, if you can have someone, a sister, family member, best friend, come in your VIP group, and when you post something, they comment. If you can get 3 or 4 people that does that on a regular basis, the other people that will start to get to know you, that are your customers, will slowly become your friends. So it does take time, and it's not instantaneous. Okay, so okay, and then posting on social media to grab people's attention. So you want to make your pleas for people to join your team something that is very attractive. It needs to be real. But I will give you a for instance. I'm going to post something that says something like, my nanny just called me today while I was at work, and my baby rolled over for the first time. My goal this year is to make enough with Cincy so I can go home and I won't have to miss another first thing. How many people on your Facebook page is probably going to be like, oh, I want to do this. I've missed my baby rolling over. I've missed this with my kids. I wasn't able to be there when they were sick and throwing up. I had to go into work. How many people have that type of situation in their life? And if you can start to show that you were able to do X, Y, and Z because since he allowed you to, they're going to want to do that as well. So you have to find your thing. Today, I took a photo of my notebook on the beach with my kids, and I'm about to post that tomorrow saying, I am so glad that I get to be home with spring break for my kids and work at the beach. Whether or not that's going to attract someone's attention, I know for me it did. My sponsor used to post all of her trips that she would go on because of Cincy, and I finally was at a point where we can't afford trips unless we go in debt for it. I'm going to try out Cincy, and I may not be able to take us on a trip, but maybe I make an extra $50, and I'm taking my husband to Disney World next month, the two of us for free. I had big goals. But as you can see, her marketing was just showing what was happening with her Cincy life. And a lot of you starting out don't have those big things to show yet. So I'm sure a lot of you are like, I don't know what to do because I don't have those big things yet. But like I said, with the baby thing, you may not be able to quit your job right now because your baby just rolled over, but you can say, I am working to make that happen. Want to come make it happen too? Like, you can still use those type of stories, but use it as a, this is going to happen, I'm working towards it, versus this has happened. All right. All right, so, and when you first join, what are you? You are the most excited. It is brand new. It is shiny. You want to figure everything out. That is the best time to recruit because you are excited and that new person's excited and y'all are going to be excited together and you're going to learn something and you're going to call her up and she's going to learn something and she's going to call you up and you guys are going to learn together and then she's going to get a recruit and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, she got a recruit. Do you see what that happens? Like, it's one big snowball. So do not wait till you're comfortable with your business or you feel like you're going to have time, because guys, we are never going to have time. We are never going to have time. We're moms, we're wives, all of the stuff. We're ladies, is never going to have time. You just got to do it. You just got to do it because you're laying the groundwork now. All the hard work, all the later hours after you work, you're doing all that now so that you could possibly quit your job and travel and all the stuff wherever your dreams are going to go. And then please, please, please do not hype it up to someone. I am very adamant about that. You need to be real with them. I always tell my recruits, if you work this business like a hobby, you are going to get a hobby paycheck. If you want to go places with this business, I will do absolutely everything I can to help guide you and get you there. I don't have everything figured out, but I know the potential that's there because I have surrounded myself with a group of people that are willing to help raise me up, and I will help raise you up along with me. So do not promise $2,000 paychecks. When I told you that earlier during this call, I am not telling you guys that you are going to have $2,000 paychecks. I am 3 years in. I have worked my butt off. I have stayed up late. I have done everything that I possibly could, all the uncomfortable things to get to where I am. It is not an easy road, and we shouldn't promise that it's going to be easy money. It takes work, but that's why we talk to you guys so much about your why and why your why is important, because that's why so many people quit. Their why isn't big enough. They're scared. They don't have the confidence. They don't have a team supporting them, and they don't show up. You guys are showing up tonight. Okay, and then one last thing I'm going to tell you guys, just so that you can kind of get an idea of you need to be in that person's head when you're talking to them. You need to put yourself as the recipient of what you're saying, because, and I thought that this was the perfect analogy. So, okay, you have people coming over for dinner. You are running extremely late. Your kids had a doctor's appointment and they are upset. They're hungry. They need dinner. You forgot to go to the grocery store, so you need to run to the grocery store. So normally what would take you 5 or 10 minutes to do is taking you way longer. So you are frantic and stressed out to get it all done by the time that your company comes over. So, excuse me, you walk into the grocery store and there's a sweet man there holding a cart for you. And he says, "Ma'am, welcome to such and such store. This is our 10th year anniversary. I hope you're having a wonderful day." And you're like, "Yeah, great." And you try to get your cart, but he's standing in front of it. And he's like, "So I had to tell you about the promotion that's going on today. It is the most amazing promotion ever. Oh my goodness, you're going to want to sign up for it." And you are just thinking in your head, "Oh my gosh, I just want to get my cart." And he's like, "Oh, but you have to know about this, this, and this, and this." And now you are late, and all you want to do, you're smiling with your uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. How many times have you had a recruiting conversation where you feel like the person on the other end is doing that same exact thing? Most people are in a hurry, are stressed, have a lot of things going on in their life. And if you're trying to sell them the business, that is the reaction that they're going to have. So you have to form that personal connection with people. And I know it's extremely hard when you're first starting out to do that because you're still trying to build up your customer base to be able to transfer them over to your recruiting base. So don't think that we don't know that as far as when we're talking to you about this kind of thing. But just be very aware when you're having those type of conversations that you are not putting someone in that person's situation, where they're standing there trying to get their grocery cart and they're like, uh-huh, uh-huh, move out of the way, I've got things to do. So you need to very much make sure that that person's in a place to hear you, and then the things that you have to say are so impactful that it makes them stop and be like, "I can't miss out on this deal," type thing. So I'm going to stop the recording and then